I've always wondered why I no longer have a lot of friends. When I was younger, I had so many friends. We would go to each other's homes, eat together, visit places together. So I asked myself, what changed? I was listening to Jay Shetty's podcast on purpose, and I realized exactly what changed. Jay Shetty shares that most of the time we are in a setting that allows us to automatically make friends. For instance, when you are in school, someone sits close to you, and after a while, that person becomes your friend because you have shared experiences. The same thing happens at work. After a period, you begin to develop some bonds with some of your co-workers. It will happen at church. That is how we make friends most of the time. When we are younger, our obligations are few, so our minds focus much more on play. That's why the bonds of childhood friendships are much deeper. As we grow, there are too many things we are thinking about. So we don't tend to make time for friends. Why is having friends important? Loneliness increases the risk of early death by 14 to 32%, which is, now this is crazy, this is a kicker, which is equivalent to smoking 15, 15 cigarettes a day. Being lonely or not having friends actively harms our health. Let's not see friendship as something unimportant. I hear a lot of people say that friends are not important or that people will betray or disappoint you. But if everyone says that, who is actually at fault? Claiming that friends will always disappoint you presupposes that we ourselves never disappoint others. If collectively we believe that we are worthy of friendships, then most people are worthy of it too. Having friends is important. One person who exemplifies this, the value of friendship, is Joe Rogan. He frequently invites many of his friends onto his podcast. The comedian Bert Kreischer shared his experience of becoming friends with Joe Rogan during an interview on Lex Friedman's podcast. Joe Rogan hosts the Joe Rogan Experience, watched by millions of people. It's on that. It will arguably be the number one podcast in the world. He's interviewed a lot of people from Donald Trump to Elon Musk to Jensen Huang of Nvidia. So Bert mentioned that Joe Rogan would text him, call him, would check in on him on how he's doing. Bert initially found the level of care unusual. Bert joked that he thought Rogan had a crush on him and that Rogan was homosexual. This is funny as Joe Rogan is in incredible physical shape. He is jacked while Bert is overweight. Now he is getting into shape. But it's very hilarious that Joe Rogan will have a crush on him. On his show recently, Joe offered a property to one of his friends to live in free of charge for a year because his friend was struggling to secure a house in the UK. How can we make friends as adults? Jay Shetty points out that we have to make the first move. There's a well-known story about four people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. We have to take initiative and engage. We should extend the hand of friendship. A practical approach to building friendships step by step. 1. Initiate contact. Start by sending a text message or making a brief phone call. 2. Build comfort. Once regular calls feel natural, transition to meeting in person. 3. Be intentional. Keep a list of people you consciously want to build closer relationships with. There's no better feeling than spending time with true friends. Most memorable experiences, at least for me, involve friends or family. Sharing a meal, eating together, having great conversations. On Sunday, we are still in the week, so this past Sunday, I visited a friend who invited a few others. We ate food together. We spent time chatting, catching up on life, learning more about each other. It was a wonderful experience that I would want to repeat. So let's make a conscious effort to develop deeper relationships with those around us, especially those who share our values. Jay Shetty mentioned in that episode that we don't need to have instant chemistry with people we want to be friends with. We should look out for shared values. Friendships develop over time, and clicking is not as important immediately as values. We must take responsibility upon ourselves to initiate relationships. If you don't start, nothing happens. Just like applying for a job, starting a business, or asking someone out on a date. If you reach out and someone doesn't reciprocate, that's fine. Over time, taking the initiative will connect us with people who care, people who want to enrich our lives. Subscribe to the podcast and like this video and share.